Coming up on this episode of LATiNAS, we'll celebrate Pride Month, follow a Latina-led study abroad trip to Paris, and so much more. LATiNAS starts now. Welcome to LATiNAS, the only Emmy-nominated show that's all about nosotras, created by nosotras, and I'm Tinabeth Piña. Today, I'm celebrating summer at La Finca del Sur, a community-led urban farm right here in the Bronx that's empowering the neighborhood through organic food access, farming education, and more. And we'll learn more about it later in the show. But first, it's Pride Month, and the fight for transgender rights here in New York City continues. CUNY alum Asha Lyons, a social worker with VNS Health, is helping transgender patients recover after gender-affirming surgery, making sure they feel supported every step of the way. Correspondent Isabel Ortiz brings us a story of this Latina on the rise.
When I transitioned at the age of 16, I had to be rushed to the hospital because I was very nervous about telling people that I'm trans and that I'm transitioning. And as a result of that experience, I met the most amazing therapist who changed my life.
That moment didn't just change her life, but it shaped her career. Asha Lyons went on to earn a master's in social work from Hunter College. But one experience would give her an even deeper understanding of the challenges her patients face.
I underwent gender affirmation surgery at 37 years old. The surgery itself, what it did for my life, changed it. Like after surgery, I smiled every day. I remember the things that it did for me internally that improved the way I saw myself, my body image, my self-esteem, my confidence, how it addressed and alleviated the dysphoria.
For viewers who are unfamiliar with the term gender-affirming care, what exactly does that mean? What does it look like?
Gender-affirming care is a range of supports around psychological, behavioral, legal, and surgical interventions that support and affirm one's gender identity when there's a conflict with the sex assigned at birth. For a trans woman specifically, if she feels like, hey, I'm really tired of stuffing my bra, right? Then at that point, their distress around that area is pretty high. And they're like, you know what, this isn't cutting it. I'm gonna need surgery.
Asha is now a social worker with the Gender Affirmation Program at VNS Health, supporting transgender patients recovering from surgery, serving as a lifeline during their most vulnerable moments.
We're constantly making assessments like, how is their mental health? Are they suicidal? Do they have enough support? One of our Spanish-speaking patients, she had what you call a fistula. That is the worst complication anyone can have after vaginoplasty. And she experienced it. And luckily, she reached out to us and we helped her navigate this difficult time. She was taken into surgery and she got that repaired.
But access to gender-affirming care remains a challenge, especially for immigrant and Latin communities.
A lot of our patients may not be eligible for Medicaid, right? Because many are undocumented or they're immigrant communities and they can't apply for benefits, right? And that's one of the barriers. If we don't address the healthcare, then many of our Latinx folks will experience more health issues along their journey.
The GAP program steps in where traditional healthcare falls short, addressing the realities many face once they leave the hospital.
It allows us to provide food, supplies not covered by insurance, transportation, paying for utility bills, furniture even, to really assist those who are experiencing financial challenges and need those things in order to have an optimal recovery.
If a young trans or non-binary individual is scared to seek care, what would you say to them?
The validation comes in here. The love comes in here first, right? And I know that it's really hard, especially when there are things about you that you find are dysphoric, that you find don't belong. But know that with the right support, you feel like your authentic self.
For Latinas, I'm Isabel Ortiz.
As we celebrate Pride this month, we wanted to take a look back at a powerful segment we aired 3 years ago that remains just as relevant today. Gender can be fluid. Some people may physically present one way while identifying another. We're about to hear from 3 trans men and how they deal with relationships in today's throwback, Caliente, Caliente.
Okay, so we're both single, so
Yeah,
I'm
you gotta
single.
come from a different perspective for us, because we don't know how it is.
I think it was easier for me because I didn't medically transition and I'm only into men. And so a lot of men kind of just saw me as a tomboy. And I went out with a lot of straight guys and it honestly didn't really work out because I knew that down the line, I'm like, in the future, I can't be with somebody like that, because if I want to medically transition, they're not gonna be there for that. Yeah. And so I stayed single for a long time. I was single for like 6 years and honestly was comfortable with the idea of being single. And then my current partner, Sam, kind of just came into my life, and honestly it worked out really well because he's not like fully straight. So, and he's very comfortable with just the personality of somebody instead of how they look. And that helped me a lot. And that's actually a big reason as to why I decided it was okay for me to go on testosterone, because he was so supportive of it. And I feel like that's what I needed to get me started.
Well, to talk about, I don't want to put it on blast, but
What do you mean? I think that's the whole point.
I have
of
a
this.
I have like a person, right? And I've always been with straight women. I'm into anything, doesn't matter. But one of my challenges with being with this person is they're in a religious family, right? And my thing is like, do I come out, or am I keeping this to myself, right? Like, do I have to come out again, or do I keep this to myself? So what are the challenges? Because I'm not once I take that person serious, like, those are questions that I don't know, because I've never been in a situation like that prior to medically transitioning. I pass 100%, I know that. Sometimes I go out to like a bar, and long story short, I was dancing with a guy, and I felt like he was into me, and then I was like, I'm transgender, and walked away. Like, and he like laughed, and he was like, it's okay. And then I felt like I had to, because I don't know, or like with women.
Yeah, I mean, in situations like that, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially if you are liking somebody, like, it's good to tell them beforehand.
Yeah, if you're gonna be intimate with them.
Yeah, one for safety, because you don't know who they are and how they're gonna react to that. It's like, it's honestly more safety, and also that way you can find your crowd and like know who you're with.
Right now I'm single, but I think eventually once I start dating, I always put it in my mind that whoever I do date, they're gonna have to be a part of the LGBT community, because I feel like they're gonna have to understand that I am transgender, and not everybody even medically transitions. So not everyone has top surgery, not everybody has bottom surgery. You instantly think like, are you gonna get the big surgery? Like, everyone wants to know if you're gonna have a penis or whatever. And I'm just like, not everybody
wants that.
And those things are private. That's something I'm still deciding for myself. Like, for other people to just automatically assume, I'm like, no.
First of all, it's like, why do you need to know?
Why do you need to know? The person that I'm dating needs to know. But
exactly.
everybody else, honestly, they can just mind their business.
Yeah,
just
True, that's true.
El orgullo del Pride para mí es importante porque hace visibilizar todas las injusticias que tenemos la comunidad LGBT y entonces esto es una fecha para seguir alzando la voz y para que las personas pierdan el miedo y sigan en la lucha.
Celebrar el Pride para mí es todo el año, creo que el trabajo social que hacemos con la comunidad LGBTQ+, y es como enviar el mensaje que existimos y que seguimos resistiendo, a pesar de que son tiempos difíciles, siempre hemos existido y aquí estamos.
La importancia de celebrar el Pride más que todo es la visibilidad que nos damos como comunidad para poder quitar el estigma que hay en la sociedad. Así que, Happy Pride.
Switching gears, did you know that CUNY has a hospitality and culinary study abroad program that goes to Paris every June? The program has been around for over 20 years and is led by a Latina. So I had to just see it for myself and headed to Paris to check it all out.
Latinas in Paris!
They represent CUNY and they represent the United States of America. I am very proud of the Latinas that are part of the program. Some of them, it was their first time on a plane, first time away from their families, and we're doing something good here. We're giving opportunities for students that never thought that they would ever go abroad.
Meet Dominicana Rosa Abreu, a professor at CITYTECH who's leading students abroad to Paris, France.
It is a great responsibility to take a class abroad and be responsible for 24/7 for their well-being. It's something that I take very seriously, and there's a level of trust and respect that I give them and they give to me.
Last summer, Rosa led 15 students to Paris as part of CITYTECH's Hospitality Study Abroad program. 8 of those students were Latina, including a student teaching assistant.
Seeing the people that are going to study abroad, even more Latinas and not Latinas, I just think it's a really good thing. We're moving forward, new opportunities.
Lisbeth, Professor Abreu, and all of the students arrived in Paris last June for their trip of a lifetime.
For sure, the first time seeing the Eiffel Tower is very mesmerizing, and it kind of brought me to tears in a way. It made me teary because I'm like, oh, who knew someone like me could, make it here.
It is so great because in a sense we're also breaking gender role stereotypes. In our culture, most women, they usually have kids, they marry. Education is not really encouraged, it's not empowered. So for us, it's really meaningful.
It's an honor, and I'm grateful, and I want to make my parents proud as well.
Ari and her fellow travelers had their parents beaming with pride when they applied and were accepted into the competitive 6-credit study abroad program. For 2.5 weeks, they lived and learned in Paris, exploring iconic landmarks, stepping inside luxury hotels, and diving into culinary and pastry training.
I feel like our days were really packed, and we definitely learned a lot. We had the markets, we had the tours, the hotels, and it definitely guided each one of us definitely to our careers, because I feel like before starting this, I was really unaware where I wanted to go, but after seeing hotels like the Saks, I know I want to go that way. Yeah.
The city is their classroom, and there's so much to learn and see and taste. It's something really, really wonderful.
While exploring the City of Light, students also got a glimpse into their futures. In fact, one of the stops the students made here in Paris was right behind me at the Ritz, where they met a fellow Latina who showed them what is possible in the world of hospitality via a pastry class at the Ritz Escoffier School.
I feel very, first of all, being proud of working here and having the opportunity to show them this beautiful place. When I see the eyes of the students, when they look at the hotel for the first time, when they step inside, and they are like, there is the wow effect. And after the class, same, they don't want to leave, and having these students coming from abroad and having those eyes of surprise, proud of learning, that is so rewarding for me.
So let me introduce you to the chef this morning, Martin Milouet.
It's been an experience because I haven't baked in a while. Well, I haven't done pastry arts in a while. It's been fun. I realized how much I like doing this.
Do you have a better appreciation now, I guess, for pastry arts after taking this?
Oh, for sure. And the whole point is to make sure first it looks good and then obviously it tastes good.
Having just the right environment makes such a big difference in making pastries. Just being able to like pour out the chocolate and watch it seize, and like being able to work with things the way they're supposed to be worked with is life-changing.
From pastry kitchens to luxury hotels, each experience is helping these students take the next step in their hospitality, culinary, and tourism career.
And I'm very grateful that I even got this opportunity here. And it is a lot of work. It is a lot of dedication. You have to be serious to want to do study abroad.
I'm very proud of the fact that they're now beginning to see their independence outside of their family. For the first time, they're going, oh, wow, I can really do this. I'm a world traveler. This is going to be good for me. This is going to be something that is going to help me with a future career, a future job that I can say and put down on my resume. I study in Paris.
Yay! For more information on CITYTECH's Hospitality Study Abroad program, visit their website or Instagram profile. Paris may be known as one of the opera capitals of the world, but opera isn't a style of music that people usually associate with the Bronx. But one Latina is changing that, using her voice to perform on major stages while inspiring and creating opportunities back home. Get ready to meet Linda Collazo, today's Inspiración Latina.
As an opera singer, I see everything. I could see wealth that I had never seen before. I saw extraordinary amounts of money, and I could see the types of people that gravitated towards opera that weren't necessarily like people that I grew up with or people that I relate to. And then I remember coming back home, and it was heartbreaking, because I was able to really see the disparity and the difference in treatment, the lack of resources in this area in particular. We are in the Longwood area of the Bronx. My family's here, which is a beautiful thing. My mom is 2 blocks down, which is where I grew up in her house. And my grandma, my abuelita, is literally across the street from me, where I live in my apartment. My mom made sure me and my sister were very sheltered. She kind of raised us mainly in the house. She didn't really want us to be outside and on the streets as much. Obviously, my mom looked for music programs that were cheap and affordable. The Point CDC was very formative for me. I was especially involved in the music program there. I would play bass guitar, I would play piano, and we would do like little performances at like Barretto Point Park, like other places in the Bronx, little festivals here and there. I was always in rehearsals, I was always singing, I was always jamming, I was always playing an instrument and really like just creating at such a young age. I really solely do opera because I just happen to be extremely good at it, and I love music so much, and it's just been the best way that I could express myself. It's opened my world a little bit to understanding like how much injustice there is, and how certain people are treated a certain way and live a certain way versus others. I always think about the grand scheme of things, like how does my art serve my community? I wonder about how I can bring it back home and like help give other people in the Bronx similar opportunities that I've been able to enjoy, and just even the prospect, like the possibility of becoming a musician of any kind. I want that for everyone, I wish that for everyone in this community.
World Cup excitement has arrived to the tri-state area, and across New York City, Latinas are helping shape the energy, culture, and future of the game. Correspondent Anny Ruiz Huayamambe has more.
In Uptown Manhattan,
Organizations like UPTOWN Soccer are opening doors for young female athletes through free soccer programs.
Oh my God. We originally started with only 9. They were youth with us, so they started in our elementary program. They developed all the way to high school, still stayed with us. And now that program has expanded to over 40 high school girls, which is amazing because that's like the hardest number to ever get.
What started small has grown into a space for mentorship, confidence, and opportunity for young girls chasing big dreams.
It makes me feel a sense of pride, especially that we can provide such a kind of cohesive space for the girls to play and play with each other, not necessarily having to, you know, play with the boys and having their own like female mentors, which really helps and builds a sense of trust.
Beyond teaching the game, these programs are helping close the gap in access and representation for girls in soccer, and maybe even inspiring the next generation to one day play in a World Cup.
I'm very excited, especially the fact that they're coming here for the game. Oh my God.
It gives me hope that like people can go pro, you know? But you don't have to be a pro player to be part of the World Cup. You can also join the experience by being a FIFA volunteer.
When you get that email where you get the interview, it's super exciting. Just to get to that process, there's millions of people who applied, so just to get to the interview, that's already a win.
For Luisa, being part of this global event means so much to her.
As, Mexican, as Hispanics, it's in the culture. Like there's no way, and I'll speak for Mexicans, there's no way that you're Mexican and you don't like soccer. It's a sport that brings the family together. I remember being young and just all the family, uncles, grandparents, cousins, everybody just gathered to watch soccer games.
And beyond the stadiums, the celebration is also reaching local businesses.
As Latinos, this is the biggest event for us. And, you know, let's just make sure that we enjoy it and we get as much advantage as we can from it.
And one way to do that is by getting creative.
Well, everyone wants to be part of it. As we know, the city now announced that they're going to have hubs, but that doesn't necessarily reflect on small businesses. So, you know, we could create watch parties at our own locations. We could make sure you have deals for the specific game. Because the thing is, people right now, they're coming into a city that they don't know. So we got to make sure that they find us. So we got to be creative. And the first thing that people do is go on their phones, you know, see what's around me. And if you have things that might catch their eyes and their attention, obviously they're going to come in and support you and come visit you. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So let's just make sure that, you know, we bank it and we enjoy it and we embrace it.
Different stories, one big event connected by passion and representation. For Latinas, I'm Anny Ruiz Huayamambe. Today I've been hosting the show from this fabulous urban farm called La Finca del Sur. And now it's time to learn more about this Latina-led community haven that's cultivating health, heritage, and hope right here in the Bronx.
This is 138th Street. It has always been the main thoroughfare of this part of the South Bronx. And when people come into these gates, I think that they feel like they're escaping. And I know that I get lost in that feeling when I'm here at the farm. I forget that I'm in New York. I forget that I'm in the South Bronx.
I was drawn to La Finca because I was searching for a safe space where I could be surrounded by a lot of greenery and be at peace, have organic food that you can grow and eat, and community. There are a good amount of Latinas here. I would say different flavor Latinas at the farm. This feels like home to all of us.
La Finca del Sur was founded in 2009, and the vision and the mission of the farm was put together by a group of Black and Latina women. There was a total lack of fresh local food in the South Bronx, particularly at that time. And we decided that we needed a place to produce that kind of food and to bring people back to the knowledge that we're all capable of doing this together. I was interested from the beginning in raising herbs because herbs to me are a very strong connection to Puerto Rico. I still have my mother's pilon, and that act of grinding those herbs with my hands is my connection to the ancestors.
I grow ingredients to make my own sofrito, which is something that is, you know, from our heritage and also part of my everyday cooking.
This is our 17th season, we're very proud to say, and we just had like 70 new beds with the best grade soil provided by a recent renovation, and we're actually planning a midsummer festival with our resident poet, Frida Jones. Her poetry group has been focusing on the work of Puerto Rican poets, so we've got lofty goals.
Having spaces like this ensures that our next generation is secure, you know, like secure in their food and secure in community. No matter what's going on the outside with politics, this is where we need to be rooted, all of us. This is like where we all need to seek.
I always tell people I want La Finca to be here forever. That's first and foremost. I think what La Finca offers to the community is hope, a place to come and find whatever it is that you're looking for that you can't find outside of those gates.
That's our show for today. For more information on what you just saw, check out our website at tv.cuny.edu. Follow us on social or download the CUNY TV app and watch Latinas 24/7. And definitely make sure to tune in next season where we'll continue to celebrate us, Latinas. Uepa! Bye-bye. If you like what you just saw and to support your favorite programming here at CUNY TV, please consider donating at tv.cuny.edu/donate.